Gas wanted in January from 42 to give to make a concert. And he invited some Jewish musicians, singers, artists to participate in the concert. Herman Krug and our group was very much against it. And we put out little leaflets that on a cemetery you don't play theater. We even tried to sabotage the concert. We want to switch off the electric light. No, it didn't work out.
Now, the question of theater, for example, from the beginning it was very, very negative. How can you have theater and concerts in a place which is actually a cemetery, where so many of our people have died or been taken to die?
What were your mother's objections?
My mother's objections? Her objections was exactly the same way. You don't open a theater in a cemetery. She's figured that it would be too painful for people who lost family members, which I completely agree. But in retrospect, when I look back, I see that that gave people a lot of positive thinking towards the future. You go to a symphony orchestra, you know, you relax, whichever country you are, especially in ghetto conditions.
After a while, we had big discussion about this, and we find out that there is, the Germans and Gens wanted to give it the normal semblance of life. And we were thinking that you couldn't do it. From the other side, we find that it has a positive thing, because it brings people, they live in a cultural life, brings back their dignity. You see, that was the contradiction. By giving us a resemblance of a normal life, you play in the German, in the German's hand. You give them time. From the other side, you must let the people live. You couldn't keep them all the time in the feeling that there is nothing. You had to give them some hope. If you want to organize them, if you want to prepare a resistance, you have to bring them back to the human dignity and to human life. And there was a theater. And the theater had, except of giving the normal, the life to the Jews and giving them the artistic ability, you saved some people, because Gens promised some pipers. You save the artist. You give them some security. You give them the possibility to make a living. So it was organized a theater that was on a very, very high cultural niveau. There was an orchestra, a symphony orchestra. There was 2 choirs, a Hebrew choir and a Yiddish choir. And that is, if you look today on the material of songs, of plays even, there is a lot left over from the Vilna Ghetto.
I used to bring information about the plays they were playing. For example, at the same time Ghetto had in Vilnius theater, there was a play called Žmogus po tiltu, a person under the bridge. So I used to bring them sketches and tell how they do that, so that the Jewish production was not worse than the production in Vilnius. But after a while, I think the human nature wants to look more towards more positive and more optimistically. You couldn't get a seat in the hall.
Did you used to go to the performances?
Absolutely, everyone. Absolutely, everyone. So.
And was this your father's idea to start the theater?
Yeah. He tried whatever was possible to keep the spirit alive. It's not so easy.
There was a lot of cultural activity in the ghetto that came to me as a total surprise. There was a library where you could go and take out books or sit and study. There were children playing ball. There were competitions, and there was a theater in the ghetto. I couldn't believe it that this is possible. Also, there was a restaurant in the ghetto. This was such an unknown experience to me that I felt that this is like a different world.
Life was kind of normal for a ghetto life. You used to go to work, you used to come home. If you were a young group of people, there was a cafe in the corner, and the young people used to gather together and sing some songs, and it lifted your spirit up. Because none of us really believed that we are going to survive it.
Because an animal, what is hiding, what is all the time under oppression, is not able to resist. You need this pose of normal life to be able to organize themselves to be a human being. Because what the Germans tried from the first time, what was their main aim, is to take away the dignity from the Jews, to make them that they are something not human. This helped them for the murderers to feel that they are doing a job like exterminating flies or things like this, that this is not human beings, and it makes the victim that he feels is not human, he couldn't resist. And I think that the cultural work in the ghetto, the work of the Jugend Club, the work of the library, the work of the concerts, of the auditoriums, the lectures, brought back to the people their dignity.
The majority of the songs of the Holocaust were written in Vilna. Vilna had a theater, and the majority of the songs were written there, and I know them from there.
Echo is the Lamentations is the only song that we can sing in the ghetto. Echo is Lamentations. I see your little streets in pain and in hunger, and I hear your cries. What will be? What will the end be? I have no room in these narrow little streets. Ghetto, I will never forget you. It's like a vow, I'll never forget you.
But I have to tell you that there was a cultural life in Vilna Ghetto. There were a lot of songs written, a lot of poems written. There was even a cafe. I never went there. There were an amateur theater, and people really were trying to survive. The morning when the liquidation came, there was just such an eerie feeling in the air. You could smell death, you could smell despair, you could smell helplessness. As we were passing through the gates of ghetto, we turned around. And this was the last time that I saw my town. And this was the last time that this was the last time that I actually saw the streets and of my childhood. This was the end of my childhood. From this time, I became an adult. As we were passing the gates, my aunt had a beautiful voice. And I don't know, she was like in a trance. And all of a sudden she started to sing this, not loud, but sing. We heard that she was singing this song, Vilna. I remember always to her sing as lullabies and all those happy songs. She sang in Russian, in Polish, but she was just going there. The tears was coming down, and she was singing the song Vilna. You want me to read it for you? It was written in Vilna Ghetto, and the music is by A. Olshanetsky, and the lyrics are by Elf Wolfson, and it goes like this. Vilna, Vilna, unser Heimstatt, unser Bänkschaft und Bagger. Oi, wie es oft es ruft dein Nomen von manoi garoisa trer. Vilner Geslach, Vilner Teichen, Vilner Wälder Berg und Tal. Epes neuet, epes bängt sich noch die Zeiten von Amol. You want me to translate it? It says, Vilno, Vilno, our town that we are born, our dreams and our desires. When we only have say your name, when we only have your name on our lips, we have to cry. We remember the Vilna streets, the Vilna rivers. The river was Vilia. The Vilna forest and the Vilna mountains. And we are dreaming about you, and we are thinking about you, and we cannot forget the old times.
Zu 1, 2, 3, zu 1, 2, 3. De Gessler dem Teuer verlost. Jeder Trott hat sein Klang, jeder Weg sein Gesang. Wenn du gehst und du weißt, wo verwas. Zu 1, 2, 3, zu 1, 2, 3. De Gessler dem Teuer verlost. Jeder Trott hat sein Klang, jeder Weg sein Gesang. Wenn du gehst und du weißt, wo, verwas.
Nimm zu mein Treue und bring meine Liebsten, mein Treuen zurück. Frühling auf deine Flügel bläue, oh, nehme mein Herz mit und bring es zu mein Glück. Frühling auf deine Flügel bläue, oh, nimm mein Herz mit und bring es zu mein Glück.